What up, YouTube? This is Daniel Rucker with True Table. Welcome to the table. Today, I'm gonna be discussing a topic. I've always listened to the content. I'm a content creator. I appreciate other content creators, so I'm always in this space. I'm always digesting information, right? And I came across this particular content creator that I follow. I think his name is Beast Smooth, something like that. Um, and he was discussing something that I'm gonna further dig into today. But before I get started, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe. Gladly appreciate it. I do it for you guys. The content is gonna continue to come because it's necessary. And for all of my followers, subscribers, appreciate you rocking with your boy. I'm gonna continue to bring it. But without further ado, I'm gonna jump in the kitchen because you know what I do on this channel. You know I gets cooking. This is what I do. I jump in the kitchen, I serve up these meals. It's relevant, it's necessary. Strap in, hold on, buckle your seatbelt. Fellas, and please, ladies, if you're listening, feel free, because this is also relevant to you. Help you understand some of the male perspective as well. But anyway, this particular broadcast that the gentleman was talking about, it was in reference to why girls go for the Tyrones and the Pookies and the Ray Rays, and they mess up their life and they do the whole, humping and dumping and the thotting it up while they in their 20s, but then they want to get it right when they get into their like late 20s, early 30s, maybe even their 40s, right? And how sometimes that it's unfair that they do that, but then they come checking for you when you get it right. Like, they wasn't checking for you when you was 18. They wasn't even checking for you when you was 21 or 25. You weren't that guy. And you've probably been that dude, been around her or known her around the way or whatever, and she just wasn't giving you no flow. She wasn't giving you the time of day. But then fast forward 10 years after a kid or two, now she want to come checking for you. So that's what the topic was about. And why I felt it was necessary to talk about it is because, I can personally relate to this. Why can I personally relate to this? Well, what I'm going to try to dive into and share is that I had to come to realize the type of dude I was. I had to come to realize that every dude has his lane, right? What do I mean by that? Every dude has his lane. Most guys, in my opinion, what they do is they take things and they keep it very, very surface, very, very basic. They see the dude that's winning, right? They see that guy. They see the desirable dude. They see the dude that all the girls want. And they're like, I want to be that guy. Like, I want what that guy has, whatever they assume that guy has. And most of the time, he's just that guy. He's desirable to most women. And what they have to understand, unfortunately, is that just may be in your proximity. That may just be in your school or your neighborhood or, your block, whatever it may be. And why this is important is because I had to learn this myself. Just like you guys, I'm a person that has been socially engineered. I have been subjugated to different type of content, different type of media stuff, different type of influences, assuming things were one way, and then in reality, it's really this way. So I wanted to discuss this because it's very important. One of the things that I hear that's troubling is that I hear men saying like, oh, well, you want to over there mess with the trash dudes, but then you want to come over here to a good guy. Like, whatever that means for you, no one can really specify what a good guy is. And see, that's again where what I want to kind of discuss on with the whole social engineering thing is because, see, the good guy from societal standards will be someone who is, law-abiding citizen, someone who, is probably educated, has a good job, responsible, palatable. He's someone that he don't rock no boats. He's not a what they call the bad boy. He's not a thug. He's not a gangster. He's none of those things. He's usually the dependable, good dude, right? This is what they usually classify a good guy. And there's nothing wrong with being a good guy. The problem is, fellas, is when you don't realize what type of dude you are. Every dude is not going to be that guy for every girl. That's just what it is. Every girl is not going to be that girl for every guy. It's facts. And why I felt this was important to talk about is because this is something that I had to come to realize myself. So, story time. Here we go, story time, right? In my development, when I was younger and I was, moving about the world, trying to figure things out, I assumed and I thought, based on my proximity, based on my experiences, based on what I was viewing, that there were certain guys that was getting things that I wasn't getting. Now, the one thing that I did always have was an awareness of self to the degree that I knew I was a dope dude. I still think that. No one can tell me nothing. I know I'm dope. I know, I'm a solid person. I wouldn't want to wake up and be no one else but me, but D, period, right? I had this same type of confidence and awareness growing up. However, the response I was getting at certain points in my life from females was not reflecting that. At least it wasn't reflecting it the way I thought it should reflect it. That's a more accurate depiction. When I compared what was my flow or female attention, parameter, consistency, it wasn't like Pretty Tony. I wasn't Pretty Tony. Everybody know Pretty Tony. There's always a Pretty Tony in somebody's school, or Pretty Tony in the neighborhood, or Pretty Tony on the block. Everybody got one. I wasn't Pretty Tony. I just wasn't that good. I'm still not Pretty Tony. And so what it was that I was trying to figure out, why is it that I know I'm smarter than that dude? I'm funnier than that dude. I know I'm gonna grow up and be somebody. I know I'm gonna be successful. I knew this when I was young, right? But it wasn't translating to females. And that bothered me. That bothered me so much for a long time, actually. And so what I had to realize when I got a little older was that I was not the dude that girls want to smash. I just wasn't that dude. I don't think I'm still that dude, quite honestly. I'm the dude that girls want to date. I'm the dude that they want to be with. I'm the guy that they want to be my girlfriend. That's always been the type of females and women I've attracted since the beginning of time, even till now. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? And this is why I wanted to share with you fellas, because sometimes what happens is that men can spend their days, their weeks, their months, and even their years trying to become someone that they're absolutely not. I can't tell you how many guys I have interacted with, met, who represent a image, and they're not that guy. They get the tattoos, they get the motorcycle, they pick up the habits, they smoke, they drink, they curse, they do all of these things. But when you pull back the layers and you talk to them, they soft as cake. Like, they are tender, right? And it's like two versions. But anyway, so what I had to realize was what type of dude I was. And there is what I wanted to kind of park at for a moment and discuss with you guys. I think that more men need to start to really identify at an earlier age, on top of the things that are your skill set, on top of the things that are your talent, on top of the things that you want to accomplish in life. Because as a man, you should always be developing and looking to do your best, looking to be somebody, looking to be the best in whatever realm, region that you consider to tackle. Totally up to you. But when it comes to women, you cannot get caught up on thinking that because one dude is getting a certain amount of attention from women, that you're entitled to the same amount of attention, or that the type of attention that he is even getting is something that's substantial. See, what I had to grow to realize, fellas, is that there's a lot of times it's very surface level things. There's very, superficial level things. There are significant amounts of attention, and there is surface level amounts of attention. And why is this important? Because again, it goes back to what type of dude do you want to be? Now, the one thing once I grew to discover later on in my life is I've always been, and even to this day, I've always been the type of man that I like things that are sustainable. I like things that are longer lasting. When I was heavy dating, when I was, younger and trying to figure all this out, I remember guys would always ask me, man, why do you, keep this girl around? Like, you ain't, she's not serious. You're not going to date her like that. In my mind, my logical mind, I was like, why would I smash her, toss her to the wind, have the experience of her once when I can eat from that attention or that connection more than one time? And I'm like that in all aspects. So anyway, that's my natural nature. That's the type of dude I am. What I encourage is that more men find out what kind of dude they are. Some guys are that guy. Some guys are Pretty Tony. They're the guy that they can walk into a room or walk into a scenario or be anywhere, and girls will just throw themselves at them. But what I've also found, fellas, is that most of the time those guys are really lonely. The amount of attention that they get causes them to sometimes overextend their time on the market, meaning they don't have real connections. They don't even know what that is. they've had such a consistency of, one night stands or hookups that to have something substantial, significant, however, eludes them. And so anyway, there's no right or wrong path. You as a man have to be the one to decide what that's going to be for you. But what it was more so that drew me to what motivated me to want to talk about this was the frustration I heard on the men's side in the broadcast that were explaining like, oh, well, you guys, all y'all women want to do is have a bunch of fun with, Pookie and Ray Ray, and then you want to come checking for me. Well, yeah, most females are going to do that in a sense. You got some women who are going to make foolish decisions, and they're not going to be the ones who are going to prioritize quality at a young age. That's just their level of immaturity, fellas. It comes with it. But one thing I wanted to also discuss and touch on before I, meet my time was that men need to be more intentional in understanding the type of woman they're actually interacting with, and stop giving so much, value just because she's a female. I talked about this yesterday in my broadcast. A lot of women are conditioned. And their condition, it's up to you to identify how they're conditioned. What do I mean by conditioning? I mean, some are just ghetto, some are broken in ghetto, some are educated and cultured, some lack culture, some lack exposure, some lack experience. The reason why that's important, fellas, is because when you understand what type of woman you're dealing with, when you understand how she's conditioned, what she chooses to do makes perfect sense. I'll give you an example. One of the girls on the broadcast was referring to the fact that, and she couldn't even really explain it. This is how I knew that she was conditioned, ghetto, because she couldn't really explain what it is that she wanted from the man, other than the fact that she wanted him to be able to provide and educated and so on and so forth. Attractive, of course, but she was like, he got to be a little spicy. And one of the men on the broadcast said, what does that mean in real life? When you refer to a man and you refer to the quality and characteristics of a man, what does spicy mean? How does that show up on a resume? Like if you put on your resume, manages time right correctly, certified in, education, and can type 65 words a minute, and oh, by the way, spicy. I'm pretty sure the interviewer is gonna be like, so spicy, is this a typo? Is this an error? Like, it doesn't make sense. But the reason why you'll understand why they talk like this if they're conditioned this way is because in most cases, fellas, in my personal experience, women that are cultured, women that are surrounded in love, women that are actually raised correctly don't use words like spicy to refer to a man. They know how to identify a man. Women who are still operating in their adolescent state of mind, women who are operating from a premise of being a little girl and thinking that a relationship is based on how they feel, based on the butterflies that they get, or based on the zealous feelings that they feel around men. See, they'll build a relationship up there. They'll build and chase that connection. That's an underdeveloped woman. That's a woman that's dangerous, and she doesn't realize that there's so much more to a connection. There's so much more to a relationship than just the butterflies or the gas in your stomach that you think is love. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Most guys have to just understand where they fall in this world when it comes to romance, when it comes to dating. In my opinion, it makes it a lot easier to start to focus on the things that are actually important. It's connecting and knowing how to deal with women, socialize with women, and conduct yourself around women important. Sure, in some circumstances, in some cases. Is it the most important? Is it the utmost importance? No. Is it necessary? Maybe, predicated on what you're trying to accomplish. But I think that when you learn to identify what type of dude you are, stop trying to be Pretty Tony. Stop trying to be the guy that the girls go Google and gaga over if you're just not that guy. If you're not that guy, then be the best guy that you can be. If the girls at the library want to date you, that's a win. If the girls that have study group want to date you, that's a win. Because all attention ain't good attention anyway, fellas. It's not always substantial and better just because, it's in abundance. Quality over quantity. one thing that I had to grow to learn, and I hope most men grow to learn this, is that as you continue to develop and get older, as you continue to make certain moves in life, you want to get to the place in life where when you do something once, one move is equivalent to someone else's 10 moves. And the way I've always looked at it is that if I'm going to classify value around a woman, if I'm going to attract a woman, if I'm going to acquire a woman, if I'm going to date a woman, bring her into my life, I'd rather that one woman be equal to 10 women. Just my philosophy on it. But anyway, I'm at my time. That's what I want to talk about today. Hope you guys got something out of it. This is Daniel Rucker with True Table, signing out. If you haven't already done so, make sure to hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you feel motivated to do so. I would love to have you part of True Table family, and I will be coming to you guys with a new broadcast soon. Thanks.